Good morning, Husker fans, and welcome back to the Husker Big Red YouTube channel. And for all of our followers on YouTube and on Facebook, we're back for another one of our pre-game chats as the Huskers will be playing USC tonight. And yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. Matt Rule, contract extension, a lot of recruiting things happening this weekend, a big recruiting weekend. So yeah, it's a fun time to be a Nebraska football fan, and hopefully it will be fun after a win on Saturday night. So we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about the Huskers. So hop in the chat. Let us know, what your thoughts are coming into this game. And yeah, let's have some fun here for the next hour. And how are you this morning, Danny, on this ninth game day of the year?
I'm good, and I'm kind of bummed that we have to wait until the night to watch this one, but it should be a good game. I'm excited, and I'm ready to get going.
Yeah, we got the blackout. 6:30 Eastern, or I mean Central Time kickoff. It'd probably end up like 6:45. They say 6:30 or whatever, and then it's like 6:42, and you're like, why are there so many commercials still? But anyway, yeah, really important game tonight for Matt Rule and the Huskers. I mean, they've got 23rd ranked USC. We have a chance to end this ranked losing streak. And show, I guess, why. Part of the reason why Nebraska, got this contract extension done with Matt Rule. I mean, I don't think it's obviously a one game like referendum or anything, but I mean, all the ducks seem to be, aligned right now for Nebraska. They've got, momentum. They've got the contract done with Matt Rule, and it would be great if they could, follow it up, beat USC, and kind of put themselves, on the fringe of the playoff conversation with 3 games to go, which I think would be a pretty fun place to be for Nebraska.
And they got the blackout tonight, black everything, black balloons, black end zone, which I think look really cool. And they're really in a solid position coming into this game on many levels, like you said, recruiting, the extension, 3 cheers for Troy Dannon, and getting Rule's extension. I totally agree, and apparently that extension involves more investment into NIL and transfer portal money. So I'm curious to see how that will be used as well, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested how that works in, or if there's, I'm not sure how you can actually write that into a contract. So, I mean, I know people have said that. I feel like that's more just like a verbal guarantee. I mean, I'm just not sure how you write that language. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe they have a specific number in there, but I mean, I've never seen that. I know that teams say that kind of thing a lot. So I don't know if there's like, I'm not sure how you make that a financial commitment in an actual contract, or if that's more of just like a verbal agreement, or you know what I
Probably a
mean?
verbal agreement, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, though, I think this was, I mean, a good deal for Nebraska. You look at it, and I mean, the biggest change is obviously, there's a bigger buyout this year, and then it decreases pretty quickly. I mean, 15 million isn't that much money, but I think it's more, I think if Penn State really wanted Matt Rule, they probably could pay that if they. But I think it's more of a sign that Matt Rule's is saying, "Hey, like I'm not leaving." That's what this contract really says more than anything. It does have a large buyout. Like before, it would not have cost Nebraska that much money. I mean, it would have cost them a lot, like 40-some million to get rid of Matt Rule. But now the contract is almost fully guaranteed. So whenever if they do want to fire Matt Rule at some point, it's going to cost Nebraska a lot of money. But I don't think they're anywhere near doing that. And the other thing is, like, I'm surprised that there wasn't any new money added to any other years. I mean, he added 2 years to the deal, but those 2 years he's expected to make the same, or he's going to make the same as he did in 2030, which is when it was supposed to expire. So I thought that was interesting. There is the clause that if they make the college football playoff, it'll add $1 million to it. And this really can add up for him if he wants to, because it's got like a multiplier clause on it. So if they no, I could be wrong, but this is how I read it. If they make the college football playoff, he gets a $1 million bonus, not for that season, but for the remainder of the contract. And then if you get 2, if they make it twice, then he gets $2 million. If he makes it 3 times, so those bonuses can stack up. So if Matt Rule does make the college football playoff with Nebraska, he can stand to make a considerable, amount of money, amount of bonus money. So I like that incentive for him. And yeah, outside of that, there's not a ton more money. There's just more of a guarantee. So if he gets fired, he's walking away with almost his entire contract. And I mean, at this point, he's definitely not going to be fired in the next few years. So I think it's pretty, I mean, it is slightly a risk, but I think it's a pretty low risk for Nebraska, and I would say a fairly program friendly deal for the most part.
I would rather have a coach locked up than a coach we have to wait for in this coaching cycle that lasts until the hiring process lasts until December, and then we get stuck with somebody else. So I think it is a risk, but at the same time, there is progress there, there is development there, and I think that the contract reflected in some recruiting predictions over the last couple days, and I'm wondering if that, for Matt Rule, I'm wondering if that was a big reason for wanting to get this deal done too.
I don't know if that was a driving factor, but I mean, I think it definitely. I mean, whenever that got done,
But reassured the predictions is what I mean. Like,
that definitely was going to help recruiting. Because like I said, teams were going to use that against Nebraska. I mean, that's what teams do. If you have a coach like that, talking with other teams, that's a really easy recruiting tactic for anybody to do. Like Iowa State, oh, your coach is going to be gone in 2 weeks. So I'm glad that they've put that to bed, and it doesn't surprise me that they came up with some recruiting predictions right after that. Amir Brown, the running back from North Carolina, or was committed to North Carolina. He's not I don't know if he's from North Carolina, but he was committed to North Carolina, and he's a really good player. So he just got projected to Nebraska. And then the 4-star tight end Cooper Terwillinger, that's another one that Danny was talking about when he mentioned a couple of predictions there. And so this kid's 6'6", 215 pounds, out of Pierre, South Dakota, and he's 141 overall in the Rivals industry rankings, and that calculates all the recruiting rankings. And then Amir Brown, actually he's out of Raleigh, North Carolina, so I correct myself there. 5'11", 200 pounds. He's ranked 274th overall. So both of those players projected to Nebraska, and you look at this 2027 class. I understand it's early, but you add these two guys to, if they can add those two guys to a class that already has Torrey Pittman, Trey Taylor, Matt Erickson. I mean, you got 4 blue chip prospects, 4 guys in the top 275. If they could get them committed, that would be a really great place to start for what I do think is a really essential recruiting class. I mean, you looked at that was some of the criticism that I saw from non-Nebraska people were mentioning, like the 2026 class, and
ones who were mentioning that class didn't do their homework on the program.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know if there's a reason for the class to be ranked 80th. I think there still could be ranked higher than that. I mean, they've got three. I mean, they have as many players ranked outside the top 1,000 as they have, who are 4-star recruits. I mean, like, I get the size of the class, but I still think the quality could be better.
I mean, yeah, but everybody knew that they weren't gonna take a huge class, and I get the quality, but I mean, we kind of all knew that this was going to set the stage for 2027, and that was made pretty evident early on.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, if you had, like some of the guys that they missed on, like Titan Davis would be, one that come to mind. If some of these defensive linemen, like, they definitely could have done a better job in this class, I think. But it is what it is. They still have time to make up for it. I mean, I still think there's chances to add to this class. Demond Lewis, the edge. There's some other guys that they're trying to flip. So it would be, there was talk about maybe the Michigan commitment. Julian Walker could be visiting this weekend, but doesn't sound like that's going to happen now. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Josiah Teasley, the wide receiver, was projected to Nebraska at one point in this class, and that, nothing's really happened there after that. But yeah, Demond Lewis, the edge. There's a couple other guys, the defensive lineman from Wisconsin, who's going to be visiting. So there are still some irons in the fire for 2026. Tadarius Hughes, cornerback, would be nice. Just more, they need to get some more blue chip talent. I really don't care, what position. And so whatever they can add, over this next month or so, I think they need to focus and try to do that.
Yeah, because signing day is what, 5 weeks away? Early signing day is 5 weeks away, so.
Yeah, not too far away. So
it's coming up.
But yeah, as long as, like, one small recruiting class, that's a little lackluster, is not going to kill you. So they just need to, make sure they keep rolling with this 2027 class the way that it's been rolling. And I think beating USC, if they could find a way to beat USC, I think that would really, beyond the contract stuff, I think that would really show recruits and everybody, like, hey, this program really can compete with the big boys, because I still think that they still haven't quite proven they can do that. I mean, in terms of winning, they've had a lot of really competitive games. They did get the nice win over Cincinnati. They went toe to toe with Michigan, but it would be nice to see them get that pellet on the wall and beat a team like USC and beat and this it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it's one of the most dynamic offenses in college football, by far the best offense Nebraska's defense has seen this season. Like, it's not even I know Cincinnati's good. I know Cincinnati's offense is good, but it's not even I just don't think they're comparable to USC when you got all these tight ends. You got Lemon. You got, thankfully they don't have their full complement of running backs, but even their third or fourth string running back put up some pretty good numbers. So it's going to be a big test for the Black Shirts tonight.
It is going to be a big test, and I think offensively they need to kind of keep away a little bit and hold the football. Don't necessarily run a high tempo offense. If the play is there, go ahead, but try to make the drives last long, have these kind of long drives, muck it up, take time off the clock, and kind of like what Minnesota did to Nebraska a couple weeks ago. And I think that'll be the recipe for success offensively.
Yeah, I think the key for Nebraska winning this game is Emmett Johnson. And I mean, Dylan Raiola is going to have to play really well too. But if Emmett Johnson doesn't get going, then I think it's going to be difficult for Dylan Raiola to get going. Because this pass rush is pretty good. I mean, there's not like a dominant, pass rusher, but they've got 21 sacks in 7 games. So, that's a lot more. 3 sacks a game is a lot more than, whatever Michigan State is averaging. Michigan State got 5 sacks against us. So, but one thing I would like to point out, and I was thinking about, I was going through this in my keys to the game for HuskerBigRed.com, but this is 2 out of the last 3 weeks, Nebraska's only allowed 1 sack. So, I mean, I understand what happened against Minnesota, but against Maryland, they gave up 1 sack, and then they gave up 1 sack last week. So, if we can forget that Minnesota game, things actually aren't, haven't been as bad. So,
thank you. Yeah, I got this. Let's see. Let me see if I can move the camera down a little bit. I got this on eBay.
Oh, nice.
I love eBay, so I got that on eBay, and it's pretty comfy. And I'm hoping many wear black today. I understand, the trepidation and whatever, but I'm excited for the blackout, the black end zones, the black balloons. I'm gonna buy a black jersey. I think I just want to make sure the jerseys have the logos on it and maybe a skull and crossbones. But I'm excited. I really am. I think it's gonna look really, really cool.
Yeah, I should have got my black sweatshirt out here for the show. I'll have to get it out tonight for the game. But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited for the blackout. I hope that we see a lot of people. I think there'll be some red, but for the most part, I think you're gonna see a lot of black, and there might be a tiny segment of USC Trojan red, but I hope that's like way up in the how they do it in the college football game where it's like that tiny. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think there's going to be that many USC fans. I mean, USC's like not known for traveling that well, I don't feel like. But
also the first cold weather game the Trojans have really played.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how cold it gets.
Yeah,
I say the colder the better.
Yeah, no, that might be an interesting subplot that you don't really think about until game time. But
yeah, I mean, it's November football, and that's what I've been saying all week about people who I've been frustrated or that didn't want the Matt Rule extension or whatever. And trust me, I get it. Like, I get it. I was I wasn't even, probably 2 weeks ago, I wasn't even sold that, he needed an extension. But
you weren't. You weren't sold. Let's be honest. And I honestly wasn't either. Well,
I mean,
to some degree, but I just knew that starting over would have been a mess right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to get through the season, and see how things played out. But, because if there wasn't this Penn State interest, there wouldn't be a need to extend his contract at this point. So, but and Troy Dannon said that some other schools called him too about Matt Rule. I mean, I have no idea who that is, or I would think it could only be Florida and what. I wouldn't think LSU, but I mean, who else is thinking they're Virginia Tech or something? Like, is there some school that's dumb enough to think they could steal Matt Rule? I don't think so, but you never know. I don't know. But the point I was trying to make is that we're here in November and Nebraska's 6-2, so that right there, you can't say that that's not progress. And they found a way to win last week. And so I think that would have been much more difficult to stomach a contract extension had they lost to Northwestern. But I think the fact that they did it this, the thing that I like the most about it, to be honest, is the fact that now this 2025 Nebraska football team, which is the best team that we have had in 10 years, 9 years if we're going to count exactly, but basically the best team we've had in a decade. Now they get a chance to go through the most important stretch of their season without having to worry about their head coach not being there, without having that huge distraction hang over their head. And I don't care that, I think that Matt Rule did a good job of managing it. I don't think there's anything more he could have done to try to limit that as a distraction. But these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They're immature. This is their first time away from home. They're still learning how to be men. They're still learning how to be adults. And if that you don't think that decision, could have affected them over the next month, like, I just don't think you understand what it's like for these guys. So I think this team is going to come out and play really well. Now, they may not win this game, but I think they're going to be fired up. And I think they're going to play for their head coach tonight. And I'm not saying he was ever in trouble or anything, but I just think that they're going to be fired up and they're going to have his back and prove to everybody that, yeah, man, this is the right guy to lead Nebraska football. This program's different, and we're going to show you on national TV tonight. I think that's going to be their attitude. Now, is that going to work out? We'll see, but I feel confident that this is at least going to be a very close and competitive football game.
Yeah, I think it is going to be close, and I think it is going to be competitive. And I think although USC has a high-powered offense, I think as long as we bend but don't break, that'll be a step in the right direction. And I do believe that this could be a game where, as much as Emmett Johnson could take over, I think this is a game where Dylan Raiola could really kind of not make his name known nationally, because it seems like everybody knows his name for the Patrick Mahomes thing, but kind of put on a national show for the rest of college football, because there's still a lot, Nebraska fans included, who doubt him, want him gone, want him benched, want TJ Lateef in. So, I think this is an important game for him too.
Yeah, and no, it is 100%. And but no, I agree with you. I said that the other day. Yeah, I just think he is gonna have a good game. And this USC defense is not that great.
No.
I mean, they gave up. I was scouting for, because I also read about Michigan. Michigan, I was scouting their game against Purdue, and Ryan Brown threw for 250 yards. And he is not very good. I mean, and Luke Altmaier is good. He threw for 300. CJ Carr didn't really have to do much because Notre Dame ran for 300 yards against them. And even when they played Michigan, they won that game 31-13, but it was mostly because Michigan's defense couldn't stop them. The USC gave up a 70-yard touchdown. Michigan had two other drives where they were inside the 40 and just, kind of pissed it away because they have a freshman quarterback. But they averaged almost 6.5 yards per play. They just only got 50 plays. And so that's what I would love to honestly do to USC, like what Minnesota did to us. If we could keep them under 60 plays, that's a recipe for success. And then another thought that I had is that I think the red zone. Thanks, James. Said I agree with the three keys that you posted the game on Facebook, and I think it was Nebraska has to outrush USC. That's one of them. They've got to protect and affect the quarterback. So they got to protect Raiola, and they have to affect Jaden Maivia or Maivia, whatever the hell's name is, because
I'm not sure either. I've been calling him Maivia. I'm not sure if that's right.
I feel like he's the most underrated quarterback in the Big Ten.
I really like him. Yeah, I like him, and I really like Luke Altmaier. Those two are my favorites, and I agree. I feel like even we hear more about Dylan Raiola nationally than we do Jaden Maivia, but he is very, very good, and so I want to give him his flowers for sure. I was really impressed with how he played against us last year, even though it sucked that we lost. But also, I really do think he's very smart with the football, makes good decisions, quick release, if I remember correctly. And I think he's really, really good. So shout out to him. He's one of my favorite, non-Nebraska players in the Big Ten. Good call there, Chris, because he does deserve his due.
Yeah, so he's gonna be hard to sack, but whoever can do a better job of getting to the quarterback. And then my other key was that Nebraska, I think, needs to keep winning on special teams, making field goals, Kenneth Williams. And then for another key here that I want to mention as well, I think that's gonna have a huge impact, is who is better in the red zone tonight. Because Nebraska's somewhat struggled in that area, and defensively, if you want to play bend but don't break, which I think is what Nebraska's going to do, you have to get stops in the red zone. So, it's a huge difference. I think about like the 2021 when it was Michigan, Ohio State, and Ohio State had a ton of yards, but they got held to field goals multiple times, and that was the difference. So, if you can get an explosive offense and make them kick a couple of field goals, then you can go from giving up 30 points to 23 points or 24 points, and that's a margin I think Nebraska can stomach in this game. Anything under 30, and I think you'd probably be pretty happy, if you're John Butler tonight. And I know that sounds like a lot,
Yeah.
but this offense is scoring, 45 points a game, 42 points a game,
Yeah.
29 points a game on the road. So you hold them under 30, you're doing a nice job.
This is not going to be a low-scoring game or a game where we look at either defense and say, "Wow, they really shut them down." This isn't going to be that game. Don't expect it to be that game. You are going to probably see some messy statistics in terms of yards given up for both teams. So it's going to be who can limit, like you said, who can limit the red zone touchdowns. And because I don't even think for these teams you're going to limit red zone opportunities. I think it's going to be who can keep each other out of the end zone the most.
Yeah, and it'll be, this USC defense has improved, but they're not like, there's no guys on there that are like, surefire NFL stars. Like, I think Nebraska's can take advantage of this defense. They moved it pretty well last year, if I remember correctly. I know wasn't there like a key interception or turnover or something that we had?
Yeah. And then Sayer Wright, I believe, had a pick six.
Yeah, pick six. Man, Sayer Wright tonight, like that dude has to ball out, but I think he's going to.
Yeah,
I think him and Makai Lemon, like if you want to watch one of the best receivers and one of the best cornerbacks in college football, watch those two tonight, because that's going to be a really fun game. And if he can even just pull a draw out of that one, like that's a huge win for Nebraska.
One of the guys that had a rough game against Minnesota but bounced back against Northwestern was Donovan Jones. I thought he played really well last weekend, so I think he's going to be another key factor tonight. And I just love the way he plays. Sure, like he gets beat sometimes, but it just seems like he's always around the football. And it's going to be Sayer Wright and Donovan Jones. And then, of course, one of my favorites, Andrew Marshall. I think those three will be key to the defense, because I'm honestly not sure that we can generate pressure. I've kind of given up on that. But I will say the run defense looked better last weekend against Northwestern. And so I think in that way they're improving. I just wish they could maybe bring a little bit more pressure. But, hey, if they can stop the run or – even not get sacks, but disrupt Maivea to kind of throw him off his timing and throw him off balance, then I'll take that too.
Yeah, I think if they could stop the run, that will help, because, man, Lincoln Riley is like, I know he hasn't had as much success as USC, but this dude can call plays like none other. And
good quarterback developer too.
Yeah, and so he's going to run the ball. He's going to try to do screens. He's going to, if you bring pressure, like he's got an answer for everything. And so, yeah, it's just, the one thing I was going to say about getting pressure, though, is that interestingly enough, Northwestern definitely has better offensive tackles than USC. That might sound weird, but it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
So, this might be a better chance for Williams Noweri and Deshaun McCullough to, get some pressure. So hopefully, or Cam Leonard. Somebody's got to, Vincent Shavers on a blitz. Like, they got to hit this quarterback somehow. And I'm not a big fan of, like the zero blitz or sending multiple. We did that a couple times last week, and I was like, but it worked out. But I think, if you could blitz Shavers like on some delays and just add one extra pressure, I think you could get away with that. And he's a guy that, he's so good at those plays. Like, he really is such a good blitzer. I do want them to take more advantage of that skill set from him. And this feels like a good game to try to do it.
There's two players who I really wish could kind of step up, but just haven't. And I'm wondering if or when they will. Cam Leonard and Willis McGahee. I haven't really seen. Leonard's kind of regressed, unfortunately, and then McGahee I haven't seen much out of. So, maybe they do something tonight. I'm not sure, but kind of having those two struggle a little bit is not ideal either. And I think, when Matt Rule talked earlier about liking what he saw on the defensive line, I think Cam Leonard was a big part of that, and for some reason he just hasn't been able to get going.
Yeah, and he, especially look at his freshman year, that Colorado game, he was a freshman All-American, just like Princewell Umamalian was. So, that has been a little bit disappointing. I think that as far as McGahee, I think McGahee's redshirting. I think I thought I said that Rule said he was going to do like, what Van Poppel did last year. Maybe I could be wrong, but
Hartzog is redshirting too, so.
Yeah, but I think that that's what's going on with
Okay.
McGahee. So,
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. It seemed like it's surprising that he's not more in the mix. I thought he was going to be in the mix this year. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what they need to definitely get some pass rushing talent. I mean, that's one thing. If you look at this offseason transfer portal, D line help and it's easy to say, hey, let's go get some tackles, but that just doesn't work. Like
No.
they got to recruit better up front. That's just, and they're starting to. At least they've got Claude and Puma in this class. Like whatever you want to say about this class, at least they got Claude and Puma.
And
And
Leon Noyle, who I think is pretty good too.
yeah, and I like Hayden Ainsworth too. I don't care about where I know he's ranked low, and I know I was talking about guys ranked low, but I do like him. Danny Odom's a stud too. So I mean, they have some nice pieces, but yeah, it's really tough to try to build an offensive line through the transfer portal, and unfortunately, Nebraska's had to do that a little too much. Hopefully next year, though, some of our homegrown guys like Grant Bricks and Gibson Pyle, like hopefully they can
Preston
step
Kamula.
up and yeah, hopefully they can step up and fill some of these voids, like with Leftoski, and I have no idea who the starting center is going to be next year. But anyway,
Honestly, are they are they really voids? I mean, aside from Evans, I mean, Latoski was good too, I guess, but I wouldn't mind just starting over on the defensive line doesn't sound. I mean, the offensive line doesn't sound half bad to me at this point.
yeah, I mean, I don't think Rocco Spindler's been anything to write home about. He's been okay. I mean,
I
it's better when he's in there than Tyler. Yeah, actually, I didn't mean to get to that. Another factor from James, our main commenter today, a factor could be the tight ends. Definitely a factor. Luke Lindenmeyer could be a factor. USC loves their tight ends. They're going to play a lot of what's called 12 personnel, if you're familiar with that. One back, two tight
Mhm.
ends. Walker Lyons. I forget the other tight end's name. I can pull it up here in a second, but he's like leading the Big Ten in yards per reception, which is kind of crazy because they have Makai Lemon on the team. Lake McCree.
I wish we did more two tight ends. Help for blocking too a little bit, but
Yeah, so I mean, Lake McCree, this guy's got 83 career receptions, 1,000 yards. I mean, he's a senior, so like he's not super like this is definitely the best year that he's had, but the other tight end is Walker Lyons, and he is a really talented guy. I remember him as a recruit, and I really liked him as a recruit. So two guys that are 6'4", 230 pounds can, they love to block them. They love to throw those screens. Like that's the things you gotta. I think Nebraska is going to be in a good spot to defend those screens. I don't think we'll see. They killed Michigan with those, but Nebraska's, they'll get up and play you. A lot of not like man, but they do like to be aggressive with their corners. So I don't see that being an issue. And I think just another huge key is going to be tackling.
I was
Like
about
with
to say,
any,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to get these athletes. You got to get these athletes on the ground. And like Andrew Marshall's been great tackling this year. Sarah Wright, I think, has been pretty exceptional there. Donovan Jones was good last week, but good defensive tackle well. And that's what Nebraska's got to do tonight.
Yeah, don't let them bounce off you on your first tackle attempt because I've seen that a bunch of times. Make sure you get them at the first initial tackle point and wrap them up quickly because if you don't, it could be bad.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm going to be very interested to see what the game plan is tonight for Dana Holgerson. Offensively, is it going to be what we saw last week, 60-40 run? Is it going to be are they going to let it hang out? Like what are they going to do tonight? I think they should run, but we'll see.
All right, I'm definitely ready to go. I don't know if I can wait till later tonight. Part of me wishes it was an afternoon game, but a blackout under the lights is going to be cool. So
Big noon wouldn't be bad. I like big noon, but thanks for the comment, Headley Lamar from YouTube. Time to rock and roll, boys. 7-2, here we come. Go Big
I
Red.
can't stand Big Noon only because they have like 96,000 commercials and like 2 minutes of football. That's what it feels like. But
No, legitimately, if the game's on Fox compared to the Big Ten network, it's like so much longer. It's
I
like
love the Big Ten network, and
insane.
I really don't like a lot of like these network broadcasts and stuff. But I like the Big Ten network. I think they do a solid job.
I do agree with this point from Headley.
Yeah.
I expect a lot more RPO. We saw more RPO last week. That was kind of one of the responses. I thought especially early in the game that they had when Northwestern showed pressure. I thought Dylan did a nice job of reading it, and because that's one way to respond to teams that are going to try to load the box on you or like send pressure. You just RPO them, and then those linebackers step up, and you send Ja'Cory Barney or Dane Key right behind him, and boom, you get some nice yards. And Dylan has done a good job. You look back at the Cincinnati game, like the game-winning touchdown to Dane Key, that was an RPO. So he's done a nice job with those reads all year long, and I trust him to make them. So yeah, I think more RPOs in this offense probably a good thing.
I wouldn't mind a lot of screens tonight. And I know people like screens and are kind of scarred from Satterfield, but I wouldn't mind it just to keep the USC pressure a little bit off balance, because I do think while the defensive line isn't great, I do think it's an element that we could maybe use a little bit more, and not necessarily the tunnel screens, but the running back screens. I think you get Johnson into space, you can make a couple guys miss. So I don't want that to be the focal point of the game plan, but I think that's a good trick to have in the bag.
I definitely think, getting some screens to Johnson. He had a good game. I think he had like 60 or 70 receiving yards against USC last year. So they may be kind of have that on their scouting report. But yeah, and Isaiah Hunter, I mean, how many times have we seen him turn those screen plays into like get him the ball more? I would like to see Ja'Cory Barney get some more touches, whether that's screens or maybe he'll have a big punt return today. So one of those guys just got to step up a little bit more and make plays. Like Dane Key's been a little kind of missing in action. So, some of those guys just got to step up, and this is a great chance to do it against this USC defense. And then as long as they can protect Dylan, which I think again just comes back to, not being too predictable and running the football. And so hopefully it all marries together offensively, and they can get, some play action going and get this defense on its heels a little bit.
And Elijah Pritchett has been playing a lot better over the last couple of weeks, so that's been an encouraging development to see as well.
Yeah, like I definitely don't think that we would have given up. The Nebraska would have given up 9 sacks against Minnesota had he not got that stupid targeting call. The dumbest, weirdest targeting call in college football history. Anyway, but I truly think if that play hadn't happened, that game would have been a little bit different. I'm not saying great, but it's you can protect one kind of weak spot on the offensive line, but it's very difficult when you have multiple. Like when both tackles are just like leaking like a sieve, it's very difficult to. You only have so many guys in protection you can leave in. You know what I mean? And then the more guys you leave in protection, the fewer routes that you have. And so if you're sitting there having to defend, having to protect, having 6-7 guys to protect against 2 or 3. And they've got 8 guys covering your 2 or 3, it's not going to be a good situation for your quarterback. And we kind of saw some of that with Minnesota. How many times in that last drive against Minnesota were they rushing 3 and still getting pressure? So
way too many.
Even if you got a guy an extra blocker in there, okay, that's 6. Your quarterback 7. So then you got 4 guys against 8, and that's assuming you only have 1 guy in to protect. So the more you try to protect, and that's one thing is, and I've said that too. Well, why don't you have more backs and receivers in there? Well, and it's pretty tough if you got 2 guys in the route, 3 guys in the route against 8 defenders. So that's one reason why they're like, how come Dylan's not throwing the ball? Well, you got 8 guys in coverage, and they're still getting pressure with 3. So those things can't happen, and you didn't see that happen last week. I don't think you would have seen that happen. I'm not saying that Elijah Pritchett's like all Big Ten or anything. He's not. They probably had to overpay for him, which goes back to recruiting. That's why Claude and Puma is so damn good, because in 2 years, instead of having to pay a tackle $1 million out of the portal, you just put him out there. So I do think though that Pritchett will make a big difference tonight.
Yeah. And, I do think they've gotten better in terms of offensive line recruiting over these last couple classes. So it's good to see. It's good to see, that kind of transpire. And then, it's going to be interesting to see Donovan Raiola's and Marcus Satterfield's contract expires after this year. So I'm very interested.
I'm not as down on Donovan as other people, to be honest. I think maybe you could bring in like we talked about, like another assistant, like a veteran assistant, like to supplement it. But I don't know that you need to fire him. I
feel like he can recruit decently too.
Yeah, I think that it's just hard, man. Like, it's difficult to rebuild an offensive line. And then I think, we haven't recruited. Well, it takes time to develop those guys. Like, you can't just offensive lines. Very rarely do you get a position where you're like, hey, we're just going to throw this guy in right away. Like, you have to be really good as an
Which is why
offensive
you
lineman.
overpay in the transfer portal, and a lot of teams have overpaid, but you have to.
Yeah, no, you have to. And so, like, I would like to see how Grant Bricks and how Gibson Pyle and Preston Tamua, how some of these guys, kind of pan out and develop, because that's
Houston, what's his face? Kalina
oh
Torres.
yeah, that's probably that might be our future center. Maybe he'll be ready next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround, but yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna learn how to pronounce his name quickly. So
I think it's Houston Kahina Torres, but
Kalina Torres.
I have no
Okay.
idea. Don't
Well,
quote me on that.
I like him. So
And so I think, if you really want to look at like what'll be, I think that'll be a bigger indictment of Donovan Raiola. If those guys don't, like, if Grant Bricks doesn't pan out, then okay, I'm fine criticizing Donovan Raiola for that. But for somebody, like, is it his fault that we're still, that Turner Corcoran still can't play? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think, like, it's just three. I mean, how many other offensive line coaches have tried with this guy? Is it all their fault? I mean, I don't know. So it's just.
well, I mean, that's a problem too. We've had like what, 3 offensive line coaches?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, before Donovan took over. So
Because Greg Austin gave us nothing whatsoever. I'm sorry, but he was absolutely terrible.
yeah,
Donovan, I mean,
I
same
think
thing
he's
with
been a lot better since Rule took over.
yeah, same thing with and I know he's out for the season now, but same thing with Teddy when he was able to play.
Yeah, and just yeah, it's tough but I mean, that's how thin they were, and it's. But they are getting some guys, and so yeah, hopefully these young guys will be ready to play. And if you can't develop the young guys, that to me that's where it really is an issue, because he's recruiting well. I mean, he's getting he's recruiting well out of the portal, I think, for as much as they can with a limited budget. Like, if you're bargain value shopping, which I know Nebraska's spending $1 million, but like, you're not picking up from the cream of the crop. It's like, hey, here's a transfer portal. Basically, like, what it is to me, it would be like, if you're playing like one of those supermarket games and they're like, hey, you get $10,000 at this grocery store, but we're going to let 1,000 people shop first and you just get the leftovers. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have all this money to spend, but filet mignon ain't going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, your New York strip's not going to be there. You're going to have to settle for, some flank steak, and you're going to have to pick out the best flank steak there. That's kind of what the transfer portal is to me. So the best teams are going to get their best players from recruiting. And
I will say he did a good job with Bryce Benhart too, because there was a time when Bryce Benhart couldn't even
get out of the stance,
line up properly.
Yeah, I remember in 2021 or 2. I mean, yeah, he was like kind of a joke. I mean, people were like posting his videos of him getting out of his stance so slow, and I hate to say that,
I actually felt bad for him.
Yeah, and it was like, my God, can this guy even walk? And he turned. I mean, give him a lot of credit, because he transformed his body. He lost some weight, got a lot better movement. They took off all those knee pads, and he played pretty. He was like a serviceable player. Like, I almost thought he had a chance to get signed or into the league.
Another young guy I just saw was Jake Peters.
Yeah,
I think he could be a piece for next year too.
And you're right, Corcoran did play well last week. I mean, I think that the play calling was much better to protect those guys, and that goes back to what Matt Rule said after the Minnesota game: is we need to focus on what we can do, what our players can do, not what we want them to do. And that's, if you want to talk about like what I think made Bill Belichick so great, is he could do that. He was so good at saying, okay, this is what this one guy can do 2 or 3 things. He can't do this, but he can do that. And he was very good at putting his people in a position to do what they can do well. And some coaches just have a hard time doing that. They want their system to be successful. They want to run their air raid, or like, Wink Martindale at Michigan's a great example of that. He wants to be the smart boy at the end of the day. He doesn't want to sit there and play quarters coverage all day and just have the players look good. He wants to look good. And so I was really glad that we didn't see that from Dana Holgorsen last week, that he adjusted and was like, I can't sit here and go, full air raid and have, 4 or 5 wides and leave these offensive tackles on an island. They just can't do it. And so I thought that adjustment was really good. And that, I think that helped, Corcoran and some of those guys have the success that they had.
And speaking of Bill Belichick, they beat Syracuse last night, so that's something.
What did they? Well, they almost beat Virginia, so maybe I don't know. I don't want it to be a total train wreck because
Oh, it already is,
I
honestly.
know, but it'd be better. I mean, I hope he finds some success. Probably should get rid of Michael Lombardi though. Cut
Yeah,
ties
well, I
there.
mean, without Bill, Michael Lombardi would be bagging groceries. So, I mean, I think it might be tough to get rid of Lombardi.
I think the problem, and maybe Bills ate some humble pie, but I think the problem is these guys thought that they could come in and just be like they were just like smarter than everybody, and like it doesn't. You need talent. It doesn't matter. You could be the smart, like you could be the smartest coach of all time, but if you don't have the talent, it does not mean anything. Where I learned that more than anything is middle school coaching, because that's where you get like the Marcus Allen on the other team. There's nothing you can do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's just I had this one kid, and literally every time I gave him the ball, 80-yard touchdown. Doesn't I could call halfback sweep, I could call a dive. It didn't matter. Whatever play you ran gave to this kid, he get so he got to carry the ball like 8 times a game, and my team won every time because I had this kid, not because I'm a good coach,
Yeah.
So I think Bill Belichick really underestimated that aspect of it. Like the most important part of being a college football coach is like getting talent and then like learning how to use it, but you got to get that talent first.
Well, I mean, drafting Cole Strange in the first round was also a issue there, and a bunch of other draft misses, N'Keal Harry and stuff like that. So, yeah, you can't win with bargain bin players in college anymore. So,
And that's that mindset of like you're trying to prove you're so much smarter than everybody,
yeah,
and then sometimes like you I don't know, but some people have that complex of like they have to. Well, I know the draft better than every other team in the league, so and Bill definitely has some of that, and his arrogance. What's the pride comes before the fall every time. That that saying is stood the test of time. So I think some people in North Carolina are realizing that this weekend or this season.
Well, this weekend he's safe, but
Yeah,
this season,
this season I meant,
yeah,
yeah. But back to USC anyway. We get off on our Bill
not
Belichick.
UNC, but
Yeah,
USC.
USC. Yeah, did I say UNC? Jeez.
No, I'm just saying in general because we got so many acronyms from
Yeah,
UNC to USC. I mean, I
it's
think
still
it's going to
crazy.
be.
It's still crazy. This is a Big Ten game. you know,
Well, I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around Stanford and Cal in the ACC. Like
or
that
Stanford and yeah, like Stanford and Florida
SMU.
State last week was they or whenever it was Florida State lost to Stanford. They were playing them at like super late, and it's like this is so weird that this is a conference game. Like Tallahassee to Palo Alto, so like that's got to be like the two most like geographically opposed like college football teams in the
Well, it's like
country.
when Miami had to fly to what was it, Berkeley to
Yeah,
play
to
Cal.
Berkeley, yeah, which is the same thing. Like that's wild. So yeah, I don't know. We got to fix that. We got to figure this college football thing out at some point, man. It's these conferences are so weird. Like it's just,
Yeah,
so I don't, and then but that is a factor too with USC. I mean, they're not traveling 2 time zones though. I've seen like USC's record when they're traveling 2 time zones. They're only traveling, or no, they are traveling 2 time zones. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Because
Mountain Time, right?
yeah, so never mind. Forget what I said in the previous statement. The record is not good when they travel 2 time zones. There's probably not very many teams that do have a good record, and Nebraska's going to have to deal with that next week. But it's interesting USC's schedule. So they flew to Notre Dame, then had a bye week, and now that's weird to fly like across country twice in 2 weeks with a bye week sandwiched in there.
There's a lot, and like Miami, for example, had 2 bye weeks in 3 weeks, so it's just really weird.
Yeah, I think it's part of with the schedule, and I know Nebraska has another, but yeah, they must plan a lot of it around these travel trips because they go to UCLA and then they get a bye week. So before they go to Penn State, I believe. So yeah, we'll see if Penn State can keep it competitive against Ohio State today. Probably not.
I mean, probably not. Penn
They,
State, right now.
the state of Ohio wants that defensive coordinator so bad. I've seen a lot of Ohio State fans like posting pictures of Jim Knowles, because he left Ohio State for Penn State to be the defensive coordinator. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference or not, but I think that Ohio State might be a little motivated.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Ohio State, they're the cream of the crop right now, and I'm glad we don't have to face them this year. I know we did have some tough games, but we missed out on a lot of tough teams this year.
Yeah,
Next year won't be so forgiving, but
we missed out on Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. So don't we get Oregon and Indiana next year? I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that'll be tough, but I mean, we should get Indiana at home though, since we had to go there a couple of years ago. It doesn't always seem to work that way though. I don't know. I mean, it seems like it should, but and then I think the Oregon game is there, so that's not going to be fun. But
no,
I'm not sure. I'm not looking at this.
So Indiana would be home, you'd think?
I think so, just because we played them there last year. So you would think that it would be at home, but I'm gonna pull it up just so we're stop guessing.
All the Nebraska fans can see their stepdad Kurt Signetti and fall in love with him again after Nebraska starts out slow.
I love your Kurt Signetti.
Well, it's so stupid. Like, yeah, let's pick the biggest unicorn in college football and say that we can go find him and go offer him $1 million contract.
Oh my God, we have to play Ohio State too next year. I forgot.
Oh really? Damn.
Yeah, this ain't good, you guys. So, I know people have said that. So here's the schedule. Okay, so we got home games. The dates aren't announced yet, so this so home is Ohio, Bowling Green, and North Dakota. So no Power 5 or no Power 4 games to start next year. So they're probably smart with the schedule. Probably.
So yeah, I was just gonna say, I know we've bitched about not like week opening games.
There's a reason they got rid of that Tennessee game. they looked at the schedule.
I think I'm in favor of week games to start the season this year.
Oh my! Listen to this. This is why they canceled on Tennessee. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Because that game was supposed to be in 2026, right? Am I saying the wrong thing? Okay, so
you imagine Tennessee on top of the schedule. Ugh.
So we'll get back to USC. I'm sorry, you guys. So next year, Indiana, Maryland, Ohio State at home. So these are all home games. Okay. So Indiana, Maryland, Ohio State, Washington are our 4 Big Ten home games. Mm-hmm. Our 5 road games are Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, and Rutgers. So not terrible, but you look at Washington. I think Washington's going to be like 9-2 in a few weeks. So we could be. And Illinois is pretty
Illinois
good.
On the road always sucks. I bet Illinois is going to Friday night or some shit too.
And I'd much rather play Washington at home. So
Troy Dannon can see his old team.
Yeah, I mean, if we lost, probably have to win one of those. You're going to have to win one of those really tough games. But anyway, let's get back to
we are predicting way too far into the future.
Yeah, important topic. We could win tonight and never lose another game in our lifetimes. I do like your enthusiasm, Headley. I like where your head's at. Let's just win the national championship this year. Stop screwing around. Beat Dylan Raiola starts playing like Patrick Mahomes, and instead of the people will stop asking why he does the Patrick Mahomes, because he'll look like Patrick Mahomes as he leads us to probably not even the Big Ten title game, because we'd have to go through the wild card route. But we'll do what Ohio State did last year: finish 10-2, roll through 14-2. I can see it, Headley.
I mean, hey, you know what? Weird things have happened. We could win out the remainder of the season. Who knows?
I do think they could. If they win this game, they could actually win out. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, UCLA is going to be tough, but it's definitely winnable. Penn State's definitely winnable, and we all know about Iowa. I mean, we're due to beat those guys. So, anyway,
I will always thank Casey Thompson and Trey Palmer for beating Iowa in what was it, 2022, 2023?
2022, yep. That was awesome. The 70-yard touchdown early in the game.
I wish we had him. I actually wish we had both for another year, because I don't think Casey got his proper due.
No, and he was hit. I mean, talk about, offensive line killed the quarterback. I mean, he got killed, literally. I don't know how he's still standing after that season, man.
Yeah, that was so rough. And I know our offensive line has been great this year, but when you compare it to that season, it's a marked improvement.
Yeah, and I mean, we run the ball pretty well, so that's you look at the 2 games we lost, and this is why I go back to this running matchup, because if you look at the 2 games Nebraska's lost, we got outrushed 186-40 and 286-40, by Michigan and Minnesota. And you look at the games that USC's lost, they were outrushed. I think Illinois was 171 to 120. So not like a massive difference, but Illinois did enough. And then last week 2 weeks ago against Notre Dame, it was like 300 rushing yards to like 80. I'm not saying Nebraska's going to do that, but if they can control that margin and they can be on the plus side of that margin, I think is what's going to at least give them a chance. Like if USC has more rushing yards than Nebraska, they're probably going to cover the spread. You know what I mean?
I was thinking, why did CJ Carr go to Notre Dame and not Michigan? Is this because not enough room?
No, there was a few things going on with that recruitment. One was that at that point, Michigan's NIL was basically non-existent. So
okay.
Yeah, so that, I mean, the Carr people have never said that's the main reason. But I do think that was a big part of it. I also think that I just don't think CJ wanted to go to Michigan. I think he
trying to get out of his grandfather's shadow.
Yeah. I think that was so. That's I think fair. It was good for all part. I mean, it worked out. I wanted CJ Carr, but they got Bryce Underwood, so
he's a good quarterback. I like CJ Carr. Watched him play against Miami. I think he's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, and so
working out for Notre Dame right now.
Yeah, and they're not really, it worked out for everybody there. And it was funny because Michigan took Jaden Davis in the same class, and he's been terrible. So that ended up not working out well at all for them. And they also missed on Dante Moore, and that was another reason. Like they just didn't have, they didn't have the NIL, and that's where Oregon was really smart. They were really smart to go get Dante Moore and be like, hey, we'll pay you a bunch of NIL to sit on the bench for a year. And now look at him. I mean, so that's also, he's also an example of, his first year at UCLA, he did not look great and transferred, sat for another year. Like it takes time for quarterbacks to develop. And so like Dante Moore is literally in his third year and he's played fewer games than Raiola. And so like when people are sitting here being like, oh, Dylan this, Dylan that, like, he's still developing. He's still this is his 21st start. Tonight will be his 22nd start. Like he's still growing and learning. And,
which all jokes aside is why you don't want to rush TJ Lateef either.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, I don't know. That's just I don't want to get back into that, but that's just craziness. Like Dylan, I mean, he played so well. I mean, I get that he's had mistakes this year, but almost every time when he's had one, he's come back from it. So like, even the intercept, like in Minnesota, it wasn't. Did he even have an interception in that game? I don't remember.
No, he just was on his ass so many times because our offensive line couldn't block for him.
Yeah, so I mean, that wasn't his fault. Like I get he probably could have, he could have played better in that game. I'm not saying that. But,
everybody could have, yeah.
But you look at the interceptions he's thrown. I mean, he had 3 against Maryland, brought us back for a game-winning drive. He had that, dumb interception against Michigan State, responded with a game-winning drive. He had the interception
play by the Michigan State defensive back too.
Yeah, had an interception against Northwestern, responds by converting 4 third downs on a game-winning touchdown drive. So, I mean, I'm not saying I want him to throw interceptions, but when he does make a mistake, he bounces back from it. And I think that's a good thing you want in your quarterback because you're going to throw interceptions, people. Like, it's just going to happen.
And I think, it's been a hallmark of the team this year, bouncing back from, even in the opener against Cincinnati, Malcolm Hartzell got burnt on one play, came back and, jumped 15 feet in the air for the game-winning interception. Like, this team has done a good job of responding when punched, and I think that's a sign of improvement as well.
Yeah, and they found a way to win close games, and there's been a lot of tangible improvement. Now let's go get one of these big wins. Like that would be, man, it would be. I'll be on cloud 9 tonight if Nebraska wins this game. Yeah, it's going to be hard to wait for. It's going to be hard to wait another. Gosh, 10 hours almost.
Yeah, we're gonna have to occupy our time a little bit here.
So yeah. Anyways, yeah, we'll be
maybe water the plants.
Yeah, Todd. I don't have to keep the kids. Will keep me occupied, I guess. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah,
find some stuff to do. Good old Todd Blackledge, and it's not even Iron Eagle. It's like his younger brother or something. The guy who's been doing the NBC Big Ten Saturday Night. I'm gonna look. But they're pretty solid. I like those guys. I think they've done a good job.
Yeah, no, Iron Eagle's pretty good. It's Noah, right?
Yeah, Noah.
I just remember that. Yeah.
I have no idea what his relation is to Iron Eagle, but their voices sound.
I think son, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess
they sound exactly alike.
They do sound exactly alike. I'm like, what? Do you notice how many? There's so many like that. That's son. Really that really is a father-son like business. You know, you had Joe Buck and oh god,
Yep.
what was his dad's name?
John.
John.
Or no, Jack.
Jack Buck. So great. Jack Buck was so great. And I love Joe. I know some people don't like Joe Buck. I love Joe Buck. I think he's good. I mean, I think he was better in baseball, but
Joe sounds like the type of guy who like reads you like a cooking audiobook and puts you to sleep. That's what I think of Joe Buck. But
did you see the we're getting so far off topic, everybody, but there's like a video, it's like Jim Nance and Joe Buck and their kids golfing, and Jim Nance,
I did. Yeah, I saw
freaking love that. Jim Nance leads them in like it's the Masters. It's so
I would love
awesome.
having Jim Nance announce my golf game. That like you talk about a legendary voice, like he like whenever you hear Jim Nance, you know it's a Patriots playoff game from the early 2000s or you know a golf or you know the Masters, and he is such a legendary voice.
My golf game is not worthy of being announced by Jim Nance. Like that would be a disservice to golf announcing. It's like, here's Chris Peterson with a duck hook to the left. Although it would sound better with Jim Nance saying it. So,
and Jim Nance ASMR would sound fantastic. They're asking a lot of Hustler Nation not to not black out before they black out. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, you do you guys. I personally think in my, you know, allegedly in some personal experiences, possibly here and there, that blacking out leads to more rowdy times. So I need you guys to be rowdy and yeah.
the one thing you can't do, this is the cardinal rule, is you can't get too drunk to enjoy the game. So you gotta just, you know, I can't get quite blackout drunk to the point you're gonna forget. But like, yeah, I definitely get rowdy though.
I
Guys.
mean, you guys can do that. Just make sure that you get home safe.
And don't get kicked out of the game. That's
Okay,
a travesty. When people get kicked out, I'm like, no, you paid so much to get here.
Or when people fall asleep at the victory parades, the championships at like 9 a.m.
Yeah. What do you guys? I am Joe Jack. Thanks for the comment. Is that a King of the Hill reference? That's what I think of when I think of Joe Jack. Anyway, what do you guys think of commits coming out of this weekend? Sounds like 2027 class is building steam. Would love to see a 2026 commit. Yeah, there's going to be, you know, DeMond Lewis just visited, and he's an edge in the 2026 class. I think Nebraska's in a good spot for. Tadarius Hughes is another guy that's coming for a visit, and he's committed to Florida State, but he's been, you know, making quite a few visits. So I do think that there's going to be, I'll say there's at least going to be one commitment, I think, in this 2026 class before it's all said and done. And then another guy we should mention, Amari Saab, is going to be visiting. He's a 2026 recruit. Only 5'8" is listed. So I don't know what he probably would be a preferred walk-on. But I know he has an older brother in the 2028 class. I think Nebraska is also recruiting. So yeah, definitely still some irons in the fire for the 2026 class.
And then 2027, I don't expect it to be announced this weekend, but Amir Brown and Cooper Terwinger?
Terwilling, yeah.
Cooper.
Terwillinger. Yeah.
We're terrible with names, that's why we're prank guys, but we'll know his name once he commits to the Huskers. I don't think they're gonna commit like today, but I do expect them to commit, you know, within the next couple days, I'm guessing.
And then Ahmad Hudson, 5-star tight end receiver is going to be visiting. Xavier Saab, the older brother of the guy I just mentioned, 2027 class. He's visiting a 6-foot athlete. So Hudson, 15th overall. Saab, 20th overall. Torrey Pittman, 27th overall. Guy's name I can't pronounce, but Olawashimore Olubola. Anyway, 6'6" offensive tackle, ranked 86th overall. Aaron Washington, a corner ranked in the top 100. So a number of guys, really highly ranked players. And then Terwillinger, the tight end who Nebraska just got projected for, he's going to be visiting. Amir Brown, the running back, he's been talking up Nebraska.
I'm really excited about him. Like I was looking up stats and saw some of his highlights today. I was like, whoa. But do you think Hudson will be allowed to play basketball? Because I know that's been
from what I just read something the other day that yes, he will be able to. Yeah, Fred Hoiberg and company are all in on that one, so he will get.
I don't blame them. Like, yeah, sign me up.
Hell yeah, man, that dude. Let's see. So 2026 is going to be portal heavy. We are young. 2027 is where. Yeah. I mean, we got 14 starters coming back. So I don't know if it's going to be that portal heavy, but I mean, I think it's going to be very similar where they're going to be, targeting specific positions, targeting defensive line, offensive tackle, maybe receiver. Who knows? Maybe I don't know if they're going to need another running back, but maybe if Emmett Johnson leaves, because now he's getting Mel Kiper has Emmett Johnson as his number 8 running back now. So, and the way he's playing, he's probably going to be top 5 by then. So it's like it's not a done deal that Emmett Johnson's going to be back next year.
That would be wonderful for the program to get a running back drafted. When's the last time that happened? Amir
was Amir after Rex? I can't remember. Yeah, he was after Rex. Yeah. So yeah, Amir Abdullah was the last one.
Oh, and that was like what, 13 years ago?
Yeah, long time ago. Long time ago.
And I know people have had reservations about EJ Barthel, but I do like the way he's coached Emmett this year.
Yeah, so I do think, I think they're definitely going to have to hit on some of those transfer portal guys for sure. Amir Brown, 5'11", 200 pounds. Yeah, I love him.
He has like 968 rushing yards already or something like that. It's pretty crazy.
Yes, and then you get him and Jamarian Parker and Amir Brown and Mosey and then Nelson. So there are some.
Connor Booth too. Let's not forget about Connor Booth.
Yeah, Connor Booth for sure. Yeah, he'll definitely have a chance to get in the mix. So, and I know Nelson and Mosey haven't got a ton of chances this year, and I mean, it's hard to not give the ball to Emmett Johnson, but they've both made, Nelson had like a 10 or 11 yard run or catch recently, and I know Mosey had a 20-yard run last week. So, go Big Red from Brunswick, Georgia. Thanks, Doug. Go Big Red.
Georgia. Wow, that's not enemy territory, but that's SEC country.
And so you guys, I'll have to go get my kiddo up here in a minute, so we'll have to run out of time here. So let's get score predictions. If you guys want to throw out your score predictions in the chat, we'll throw them up. Danny, I know we did our predictions against the spread, but it's always kind of fun to do them again. So
I don't remember what I say when I do these predictions, so it's always a new day for your boy here.
If Quan Lacey State come in, I think we'd all think more highly of EJ Barthel.
That's one.
I do wish we.
I wish he could have stayed.
I wish we had him and Prince. Could you imagine if we had the two-headed? Oh my God! And then we had Prince Wells. Anyway,
sad.
What's going to happen tonight, Danny?
Tonight we're gonna finally beat a ranked team when they're ranked, and the Huskers are going to win 38-34.
38. Ooh, big! You got some fireworks tonight. Nice. I like it.
There's going to be no defense play. Let's be honest here. There's going to be no defense for either team.
I don't think the defense is going to be very good, but I think it's going to be I'm going to go 27-24. So I have Joe Jack 34-31.
Similar to me, 31-34, 20-24.
28-24. So I think it's going to be I think the offenses are going to dominate, but I think Nebraska is going to do the time thing. And so I think it's going to feel more like an NFL game, fewer possessions, fewer plays, lots of yards. But I think we'll find a way to kick a field goal late, and then who knows? Maybe Sierra Wright will come up with an interception on the last drive to celebrate against his old team.
They better show up. They got 50 recruits. They got the blackout game. They got everything rolling. They better 45. Now that I could definitely see.
I could see that. Yeah, I could.
I wouldn't like that because it would just be like way too stressful. But I could see that.
How many That's if we get 45 points. Like, how many yards do you think Emmett and Dylan Raiola have? Like,
Emmett has at least like 250, and then Dylan has like 400. I don't know.
But I'm thinking at least 200 for Emmett and 300. So 31-28. We got all Nebraska fans, Husker Nation. We're feeling confident today. We don't have any Debbie Downers so far predicting us to lose.
Well, I think getting that rule extension in the bag was huge for many reasons, as you stated earlier, and now we can finally play. All of us can be a little bit more relaxed, Matt Rule included, because I'm sure the process, getting asked about it every day. He looked stressed in some of those press conferences between the Minnesota loss and then answering the Penn State question. Yeah, the crowd needs to get loud on defense, and the crowd does need to get loud on defense. I'm expecting a lot of false starts from you guys, and I don't know how many in the chat are going today, but I'm expecting the crowd to be loud. I'm predicting that this will be the best crowd since the Colorado game and one of the loudest crowds since maybe the Miami game back in 2014.
Yeah, maybe it'll. Yeah, I don't know if it'll quite have the fervor of the frothing at the mouth, with Prime in Colorado, but it's going to be close. Like it's going to be really close. Rayola transforms into Texas Tech Mahomes and throws for 500
I
yards. I
would
could
like
see
that.
it. Oh
I
my
would like
God,
that.
that would be awesome. I like your predictions, Headley. I'm really liking it. So I hope you're right.
I hope you're right too, or else we'll be sad again. But
Yeah,
we're
I
used
don't.
to it too, so
Yeah, I don't want to be sad. It would be not. Yeah, it'd be nice to just. What a perfect way to cap this week if they get this win. Like what a perfect way to cap the week, and then it's go time, man. Like we win this game and it's freaking go time.
yeah.
So, all right. On that note, thanks everybody for joining us on the stream. Thanks for everybody who's watched on the replay. If you haven't already, please do us a huge favor: hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, get in the comment section with your predictions, and as always, go Big Red.
Go Big Red.